a win feels absolutely amazing. It always surprises me how much a good performance and a win can change the outlook of your whole weekend. I think for the last few months, Wolves fans have been used to the weekends being ruined by the performances, and the World Cup was a welcome break, but finally Wolves have got a vital 3 points against a relegation rival. I don't think West Ham will go down, but they're in and amongst it. I fear for David Moyes' job now. Just a note on West Ham before I go into Wolves. Declan Rice, always rated him, but today he's like having two players on the pitch. He's phenomenal. Now to the important stuff. I thought first half we absolutely controlled the game. Very much like the Villa performance, really. But second half we were better. But fantastic first half. Again, not creating a load of gilt-edged chances, but just absolutely controlled the game. And I feel like as a team and the profile of the players that we've got, we're better. It's hard for us to play through teams. We haven't really got anyone who can unlock a team, that real bit of star quality. Not yet, anyway. And I feel like we look much better in that kind of that transition where the opposition loses the ball and we break on the counter. Very similar to Nuno's team, really, where we used to soak up pressure and hit teams on the counter, and it's exactly how the goal came. And that's how most of the goals come, really. That kind of that change in possession. Fantastic goal. Podence made up for his absolute shocker of a dummy in the first half, where he could have had a shot on target and let it through his legs. Like that's it with Podence. He can frustrate you in instances like that, and then come up with absolute magic with the goal. So a lot better today. I think we managed the game out a lot better. I think Totti coming on was helped us in terms of winning those balls that come into the box, and they brought Scamacca on, obviously a big chap, but yeah, a lot better today. Lamina put himself about. I thought Semedo had his best game in a Wolves shirt. Hopefully we can kick on from that. We've seen this before though, where Semedo's had a good game, the next game he's been poor. I thought Kilman was better today. Collins, apart from the where he tried to shepherd the ball out of play in the second half, I thought those two dealt with Antonio really well. Moutinho rolling back the years. It was Cunha was bright in the first half too, but it was a lot better. Still room for improvement, but I think they'll take a lot of confidence from beating a team in and around them, but also holding on till the end. So a fantastic result, a good performance, and I'm going to enjoy the rest of my weekend now.
Big 3 points today. Brilliant performance. It's finished Wolves 1, West Ham 0. We needed that massively. And I cannot fault anybody on that pitch today. I thought everybody was sensational. From the goalie to the front men. It was just a pleasure to watch today, I think. And watch the difference that we've had in the season compared to what we've got now. It's brilliant to see, and you can really see the changes that the manager's brought in and the way that he wants to play. He's implemented that, and some of the players that I'll hold my hands up and say that I've never wanted to see in a Wolves shirt again have completely changed the way that I view them in these past couple of weeks. 3 people today that stood out for me the most were Nelson Semedo. I thought Semedo was man of the match, and he's arguably been one of the worst players this season. Collins, I thought again today, he was sensational. Won every battle. When Antonio plays, usually we get run rings around, and I thought he dealt with him so well today. And the other one being Hwang Hee-chan. This bloke, he runs his little bollocks off, and that's kind of what we need in the team. A player like Hwang to come in after the abuse that he's had from fans and everybody else around him. To play the way that he's playing at the moment, he's really good to see, and I'm very pleased that he's getting the run in the team that he deserves, really. But I thought we were brilliant all the way around the pitch today. We've not give West Ham a sniff, apart from when we've scored the goal. We decided to sit back a little bit, which I don't really see the point in doing. I think we put unnecessary pressure on us sometimes when once we've scored a goal or when we've got one back and we're holding out for a point. I don't understand why we're so defensive and why we sit back for 25 minutes in the game. They've had about 15 minutes of playing football today when realistically we could have gone the whole 90 without letting them play. We just, towards the end of the game, it kind of just lost all the game plan and we were just using long balls and trying to get us out. But sometimes when we're just using the long balls and trying to get us out and we're not winning the second ball, you're straight back in again. And that happened a couple of times today, but Sar's not really been troubled. They are a dreadful, dreadful team with some really good players, but they don't work well as a team at all. I thought the midfield three today was sensational. Moutinho, that bloke has got some sort of iron lungs going through his body because the way he runs and the way he battles and the way he chases down players is brilliant to see. And Núñez on the ball is sensational to watch. He just glides past people. And then Neves is Neves. We know what we're getting with Neves. He was brilliant again today. And he got the subs right today, the manager. I know some people have questioned sometimes the subs that he's been bringing on. Maybe at the wrong times, but I think he got them right today. We got to see Lemina, and what a signing he's going to be purely for. The tackle he did towards the end of the game, where it's give us another chance to score. It just gets everybody up, and you can see the little bits of change that the manager's bringing in. Really, just the work rate, and you've got people flying into tackles and chasing down the ball, and that's what we've been missing really this season. Is a bit of bite, a bit of fight to get us out of a position, or to drag us through a position, or to get us back in the game. With in past managers this season, if we go 1-0 up, which we didn't very often, we kind of just hide and just try and defend. Whereas today, we kept going. And then towards the end, we kind of sat back a little bit. I'm saying to a few mates around me that if anybody else managing that today, we probably lose. Because their bit of pressure that they had towards the end of the game worked well for them. But realistically, we weren't troubled today, and I thought it's a massive, massive 3 points that we needed. We needed to win that game today. And all of a sudden, it's looking a bit more rosy for us. Still a long way to go. Still a lot to improve on. Get some more players in this week. And yeah, I'd still say we're in the scrap. Which is still a bit shit to say. But I think we have to accept that. I don't think we'll go down. I think we're a good enough side to stay up. It would be a travesty if we did with that side. But I look forward to Tuesday's game now against Liverpool, and hopefully we don't get stiffed by some shitty VAR decisions again. But yeah, brilliant to see. Brilliant 3 points and a brilliant performance all round. So on to Tuesday now. So cheers for having me on, boys. See you later.
I tell you what, we never make it easy for ourselves, do we? That was a very, very long second half, but I'm so happy. We've got 3 points. It feels like forever since I can say that we got 3 points after a Premier League game. And in terms of where it leaves us in the league, it's invaluable, really. Can't put into words how massive of 3 points that is, especially against a team that are so close to us in the league. In terms of the game itself, it was a scrappy affair. I think both teams were kind of clutching at dodgy chances for the best part of the game. I thought Sarr had a couple of shaky moments. There was a couple of times where it looked like we were going to concede, especially that one that somehow kind of like ricocheted off a defender and like just kind of landed in his arms. There was a couple of chances like that where a bad bounce of the ball could have cost us, but thankfully we ended up all right. Individual performances, again, Sarr, I think it'd probably be a good idea for us to get in a keeper to kind of challenge him, because he really, really doesn't fill me with confidence. Even today when we have a clean sheet, like it just sometimes it just feels hard to watch. I can't really think of a better way of describing it. He's just very hard to watch. I think Semedo had his best game of the season. He's been a liability for the vast majority of the time under Lage. You can see a clear improvement week on week, I think, which is very much welcome. Up until this point, I've been kind of crying out for us to sign a new right back. Not many people seem to have been mentioning that. It's been a lot more about the centre halves, but I don't think the centre halves have been the problem. On that note, I think Collins and Kilman dealt with Antonio and later on in the game Scamacca really well. Again, it was a scrappy game, but they managed to deal with a guy who's basically bigger than both of them incredibly well. Cunha's first start, over the couple of substitute appearances he's had so far, I think he's looked amazing. Today, not so much. I mean, I don't put a lot of that down to him. He basically had both the centre halves and two holding midfielders like surrounding him for the vast majority of the game. So I think considering that was the case, he dealt with that quite well. Lamina is he's a completely different player to what we've got at the moment. I suppose you could say Boubacar Traore is kind of a similar mould of like a big physical midfielder who's going to put himself around, but he's only young, and I don't think you can rely on a player like that over the course of a season. So it was good to see him come in, and I think he did quite well. The thing that's really bothered me about this game is that offside goal for Raul at the end. I've just watched the highlights on Sky Sports and they didn't even put it in there, so I've not been able to watch it back. But if what I think was the case did actually happen, in that the defenders headed it and then it's gone to Raul, then how are we having this conversation about refereeing decisions every week? Because that's just fucking ridiculous, if we're being totally honest. Like, VAR has to check the club badge before any decision is made. It sounds ridiculous, but to be honest, it's getting to a point now where it's just excessive. It's just ridiculous the amount of times that I come home from a game and I'm just fuming at refereeing decisions. It could have quite easily cost us. Like, if West Ham weren't bad today, they could have quite easily scored. So thankfully that didn't come into play, because I'd be in a very different mood right now. I think that's all I have to say, to be honest. I'll probably wake up in the morning and realise there's 106 things that I wanted to mention and forgot to, but I think I've covered most of it there. Thanks for having me on, and up the Wolves. Let's do it again next week.
Well, we never like to do it the easy way, do we? Wolves have won 1-0 today. I don't think we can complain, really. Beggars can't be choosers in our position. And I think that stat that we've put out about having 2 wins in the league before Lopetegui came in, and 2 more since, 2 in 4 games, you really can't argue with that. And I think it's only onwards and upwards from here. But as for the actual game, first half was quite a bitty game, quite a tough watch, really. But I thought once we did the hard part, which was break down that defence that was very stubborn, the West Ham defence, and very, very deep, I thought we'd then go on and maybe have more chances and open up the game and maybe get a few goals for once, maybe win a game by a few goals, which we haven't seen in a long, long time in the league anyway. But yeah, we scored. Great goal from Podence as well. Seems to be popping up with a few goals recently. I think that's 3 in 4 for him now. So really helping us. And then after that, I mean, we battled well, but didn't really create too much. Obviously, Neves had a chance, which nearly curled beautifully into the top corner, and a fraction of a foot offside for Raul as well. So maybe we could have had more. I'd like to see us be a little bit more clinical and a little bit less wasteful in that second half after we got the goal. But a lot of warrior-like performances. I think shout out to Nelson Semedo as well. Superb today. I think he was really tested more when Ben Rama came on, but dealt with him really, really well. I think the midfield was good as well. Obviously, it's a tough task always. I know West Ham are down there, but you look at that midfield on paper of Paqueta, Souček and Rice, and they gave him a good battle. Maybe a little bit sloppy in the passing today, more than usual. But really can't complain. Another win. And we go from there. So very happy. Fingers crossed for, I think it's Liverpool next, isn't it? So maybe not the next three. But the way we're playing at the moment, and the way especially Liverpool and Man City are playing, maybe we'll get something. Onwards and upwards, definitely.
Howdy there. It is your favourite Memphis Wolves fan, Memphis, Tennessee. Howdy there, Dave and Talking Wolves. Thanks to you guys telling me about the Facebook group. I was managed to get a ticket in the South Bank. Sitting with Sam. Probably going to be back in the South Bank because I loved it. I will say, you can see the ambulance there. It was some heart-stopping stuff because all the action, all the goal line clearances in the second half, we held on. We did give them a chance to get back in the game, but that's all right because it was the victory that got us to 16th, and that's what we needed. Don't care if it was pretty. It probably was not pretty, but it was a victory, and Daniel Pedence got it in the back of the net, and it was a full-on team effort to take it all the way up the pitch. So I don't care if you don't think it was pretty. It was a victory, and that is what we desperately needed. So we'll give man of the match to Pedence, and I will be back in the South Bank. I want more punishment, and I love the vibe, and I love the atmosphere, and we are Wolves.